So not much going on in the NBA today, right? Let's see. What should we talk about? There's got to be something here. Oh, I don't know. Oh, right. Anthony Davis has asked for a trade. Anthony Davis has asked for a trade. And depending on what happens next, the entire course of the NBA could completely change. You think that's an oversell? I promise you, it is not. Anthony Davis gets traded to a team that already has a top 5 player on it. That team is at least a threat to win a title this season and disrupt the Golden State dynasty. Or Anthony Davis gets traded to a team that doesn't have another elite player on it, but is in a super attractive market, like, say, the Knicks, a team that could also still create a max slot this summer to attract a player like, Kevin Durant. Yeah, again, everything changes. This has the potential to be a KD to Golden State or LeBron to Miami type of situation. And the fact that it is happening now, 10 days before the trade deadline, as opposed to this summer when we all frankly expected it, just makes it all the more DEFCON 1. And why exactly is this happening now? Well, let's take a look at what AD's agent Rich Paul told our Adrian Wojnarowski, who broke this story. Anthony wants to be traded to a team that allows him a chance to win consistently and compete for a championship. Anthony wanted to be honest and clear with his intentions, and that's the reason for informing them of this decision now. That's in the best interest of both Anthony's and the organization's future. Translation: after walking into this season, absolutely planning to give the Pelicans a full year to justify to him why he should or should not take the Supermax extension New Orleans was expected to offer this summer, AD has decided he's already seen enough to know he's not going to re-sign. It just hasn't been a good season for the Pelicans, and while teams like Houston started tweaking as soon as they saw things go off the rails, the Pelicans, they stood pat, which has left them sitting at 13th in the West. Forget competing for a championship. It's hard to make the case they're even sincerely competing for a playoff spot right now. And it's not like the Pelicans have ever been a contender in the 6.5 years AD has been there. They've won a grand total of 1 playoff series in that entire stretch. Last season, AD and I sat down to talk, and we discussed the idea of his spending his entire prime with a team that just couldn't get it together to compete. Take a listen. It is really hard for players because you get the message of loyalty. You go out with these guys next to you. You bleed for this jersey. I mean, you literally bleed on the court for this jersey and for the city. And then you have guys like, the OGs of the game, like Kevin Garnett, who comes out and says, hey, I wish I hadn't spent all of my prime in a place that wasn't even going to make the playoffs or something like that. How much does it affect you when you hear?
Yeah, when you hear that, it makes you think. I'm not going to lie, it makes you think. Because you wonder if you followed in that same path. But then again, you're like, this year could be the year. Like, you don't know, so you just got to take it year by year and just see.
Apparently, he's seen enough. And frankly, I'm all for AD at age 25 having some agency over his own life and his own career and wanting to try something different. So now what? Well, it's the worst kept secret in the NBA that Boston has wanted AD for years. Danny Ainge has been stockpiling draft picks and assets and was certainly expected to offer a treasure trove to get him. But because of a quirk in the CBA, the Celtics can't trade for AD right now unless they want to offer Kyrie Irving in the deal, because both Kyrie and AD are on a designated rookie extension contract, and you're not allowed to trade for 2 players currently on such a deal at the same time. Kyrie is set to get a new contract this summer, so then the Celtics could really go for it. But of course, now it's possible AD will already be taken by then. So will Boston still make an offer now and just hope the Pelicans will agree to wait until the summer to take it? Would they have to promise to include Jason Tatum in that offer to make that worth New Orleans' while to wait? Or are they out for right now, which would shift momentum over to the Lakers, a team that thinks it can sign AD to a longer deal this summer, and so therefore would presumably give up more assets than a team that thinks it would only be renting AD? Or does a team like the Knicks take a flyer the way the Raptors did with Kawhi, the way the Thunder did with Paul George, and actually make a big offer, just gambling that AD will like the team so much he stays? Will the Pelicans even make a deal at all? They don't have to. AD has another 1.5 years left on his contract. And unlike in the NFL, NBA players can't just hold out. They lose their free agency windows if they do. New Orleans, for the past couple months, look, Coach Alvin Gentry has been emphatically denying that the Pelicans would consider an AD trade, no matter what, even for Beyonce. But here's what Pelicans owner Gail Benson told The Athletic, and in the end, it is her opinion that matters. She said just this month, quote, I really like what we have in place. I really like Anthony. But if you want to leave, you can't hold him back. Indeed, Anthony Davis has now made it clear he wants to leave. And by definition, that means the whole course of the NBA is about to change.